I said to register this video on this quiet, nice place in Ponte Tresa, still in Switzerland, to speak about my relationship with my mother. And yes, family relationship. In my case, and to take it from the beginning, I think I never liked my mother. And I say this because the difference between my parents is huge. One of them, my father, is very calm when he's not drinking, and my mother is hugely agitated, hugely, and always she wants to be in control of others as well. And since a young child, except the fact that yes, she was agitated, and I don't remember, to be honest, I don't remember if she ever had me in her arms before me stopping to not want to have that or to have a relationship with my mother. Why I start not liking my mother in the first place? I guess it started when, or at least I remember, when I was a young child, that we were having some visits to a friend of her, and whatever I was picking, and I was a very little child, she was always with this expression, think before you speak. I felt as a child that nothing is good enough. I'm not good enough. I could not understand why she didn't like me, because at the end of the day I was a child and I didn't feel the love of my mother. And it started with that. And when I started school, I guess a lot of mothers are doing a lot of things to make their children learn better. I don't consider the option of my mother was the best one or a good one at all. She started when I was in the second grade, except the fact that she was destroying all my sheet of papers from my notebook, saying it's wrong and to take it all over again. That was not that huge of a deal, but the thing that she was saying that I'm a stupid or I'm an analphabet when I was such a young child, yes, I think that had an impact on me. And not necessarily that I think now that I'm a stupid or an analphabet, but it had an impact when I was a child in truly having confidence in speaking, in having that power of truly speaking their mind, her mind, without any judgment from the other. I always had that thought in my mind that saying that will make that person believe that, or I don't have the full confidence that this is correct to really speak it up. And like that, yes, people were thinking thinking that I was stupid because I started not to speak. And even if I was not believing the same thing as the others, or I believed that is not fair, or whatever, I started to just shut up, because I started thinking that it's not my business, like not to speak everything, but not to speak. And I did not say at that moment, when I was a young child, nothing to my mother. She was my mother. But I was creating a lot of thoughts in my mind. And also when it started to those situations with my parents in a very aggressive way, with alcohol and threatens that towards my father, towards my mother, that he will kill her. I, in my mind, seeing those situations, and as a child, I put all the blame on my mother. And I saw my father as a weak person, which I still believe. A weak person that he cannot say no to my mother, or he cannot express himself, he does not know how. And as my mother was very agitated and very pushy and very controlling and truly hard to speak with her, his option was to drink. This is what I saw, I felt, and it made just take steps back in my relationship with my mother. With time, I was very happy that when I was 16, she left in Italy, and I was aware of her influence. It also changed a bit the situation in the house, because our father didn't had an issue with us children. He truly had an issue with my mother, and it was not a hard necessarily time with my father, just with my father. He was cooking, I was doing the shopping, but I was very happy, yes, that I was far away of my mother. It's kind of a strange thing in a family, and basically the mother should be the most closest person. It's something that at least it should be nice. Where do I want to go with that? It was not like that. Still, my mother was visiting us from every 3 months, I think, because she never wanted to lose contact with her family. Very happy family, and with time, when I got to high school, I felt that I have more power. And I started to, or it was the adolescence, I started to, not to speak, but to scream. every discussion with my mother was screaming from my side, um, and a lot of crying from her side. And this is how our relationship looked like. And I left home, but I did not felt to be more close to my mother. Yes, my mother has been close to me with all my surgeries, and I'm truly grateful for that, because I could not walk, I could not do a lot of things, so I truly needed her. It was hard also to be close to her, because she was very pushy, and yes, she wanted to be as she wanted, which is completely opposite of my wishes usually. I had one surgery when I screamed, the brain surgery, and I screamed at her to leave, to let me alone. I don't know exactly how that situation got to my doctor, but also the doctor told her, if she wants to be alone, let her alone. She did not, because she's too stubborn and I needed help. But yes, I wanted to be alone. I wanted, because sometimes there are people, and I want to just one thing, take care what kind of people you have around. And I don't speak necessarily about the parents. Up to a certain age, the relationship with the parents is kind of vital sometimes, but also this thing, it's kind of defining the type of relationships, and I don't mean necessarily romantic relationships, every type of friendships that you will have around. And I got used with the behavior of my mother, even if I didn't like it. I got used with having hard people around. Maybe I just had a better tolerance to them, and I started to have people around that were not that good for me, but I was creating excuses, that okay, this is how he is, let's see. But sometimes it's not the best thing to just let those people stay around you. And this came from the relationship with my parents, because I had a hard time at home. I was used to have a hard time outside home. I have very good friends that are great, are absolutely great, but I see that also the church, because I was so quiet. I was very quiet, and I became a huge listener. I gathered around me a lot of people that were great talkers. But even if I felt bad in a day, who said no? I just let them speak, because I was too used to shut up, because it's not okay to speak. It's not. It's hard for the others to listen. So I had until very late, and I think until psychotherapy, people mostly speaking and me mostly listening, which is not that good for me, because because sometimes we need to speak, and sometimes we really need to be listened. And it's also, for me at least, it's hugely important to have that, to feel connection, to feel that connection between two people, to feel that you are here and you are close to me and you are truly listening. And even if I don't need an advice, because sometimes, a lot of times, I don't need advices, but just being there, present, 100%, it's hugely important for me. And this is what I want to take with me in the next relationships. With my mother, especially after I started to work in IT, it was even harder to speak with her because I started not to have that patience at all. In IT, having clients always angry, all my patience was going in the professional, and it started to be just harder, way too hard to speak with my mother, because I felt every word I was saying, it's triggering her. And it was hard for me as well to not be affected by her rage, because at a certain point it was just becoming a rage towards me. With this, I started to believe, okay, maybe the way of me speaking is not sending us in a productive conversation. Let's try to change something about me, because this is, I don't say it's good. It's good that I tried to improve my communication. This is something good. But I don't say it's good that if relationship is not working, let's change only on me. It's only my fault. This is the mentality of a child with a trauma behind. It's my fault. It's not truly true, because in my relationship with my mother, for example, okay, maybe I did not know how to communicate because I could not learn in my house, because everything was sending in a direction of minimizing the other. This is what I learned in my house. These were the jokes. And I was speaking like that, and she did not felt respected. She did not felt love, because I could not have that love. But I started to read books on non-aggressive communication, and I started to learn more to speak with what I feel more and what I need, not only how can I blame the other or what's that person doing wrong. Because yes, sometimes we don't know how to speak, and it's triggering a bad reaction of the other. And it's better to say what we need instead of what the other person is doing wrong. Because at the end of the day, if we are triggered, that means that in the most part a need of us is not met. And I could feel it in myself with the changes I've done. I did that. I try to see how it is. A lot of times, no, the communication was not going in any better direction. So I was also very emotionally down, and I couldn't take care of that relationship, or me trying to improve the things. And I said stop. I said stop, and I did not speak with my mother for 1.5 years almost, with some little talks, but I just blocked her number and didn't want to speak with her. And I started to feel well. Yes, because what triggered my decision was also her understanding of me saying no. My boundaries were not met. She was stepping out of everything I was trying to say. I was living in fear that she will come to my door. And believe me, it's not the best feeling. It's my mother. And I truly had a lot of fear. I guess this was also a part of my decision of moving from Romania. My mother. I did not speak with my mother for almost 1.5 years. I started to calm myself. I started to change also my inside energy, because I started to become more calm. It was nothing to be feared about. And I don't regret this decision, until one point when I wanted to understand why I hate her, because I felt that I hate her, and I had just one visit to a psychotherapist, and I was annoyed completely, because the psychotherapist, and it's true at the end of the day, tried to make me understand that my mother just did what she could with what she had as information, with what she was learned. At the end of the day, my mother is a simple woman, and this is what she could do. And yes, I think everyone, if she would have been strong enough, she would have left my father, but she did not. That would have been the most important step. But under remaining, a lot of people would have reacted the same, with screaming, agitation, and much more. So I decided to start again speaking with my mother, with my needs, because I need to be calm, I need to feel okay, I need to trust people, to not raise fences, because I do that with my mother and I don't want to become a habit. So if it's something good for me, I don't say it's good for you. I encourage you to analyze your situation as it is and make your own choices. This was good for me. I don't speak very often with my mother, because I still don't feel that I want a close relationship. It's not about only my past, but it's the way she is. I don't feel really comfortable close to her. A friend of mine would say that it's your mother and let it be. I did not got to that point. Maybe I will in 10 years. I don't know. For the moment, this is what I feel, and I feel okay like this. I would have loved having a family. I would have loved having a mother that is closer to me. I don't feel that I can have it. It's still something in me that does not want to go further and be me, the one initiating closeness. Because I did it a lot of times and I felt that always I had a slap. Not physically, mentally, emotionally. And I am sensitive, so I feel them much more than it should be. It might be felt for you. This is why I don't say to take me as example. I'm just trying to say how it was for me and what triggered those, what I learned from that, how I reacted, and maybe something can give you ideas. But our reactions are unique, and what's good for me is not for you. See you next time from a different location, because I want to change locations. Fine, and be nice, but not very nice.